Hello everyone. So in this video we're going to look at conceptually what happens when you call a fan out, fan in pattern with your code. So if you're building it from scratch, this will be useful. If you're using a framework like LangChain, this is still useful to get in your head because then you can understand what's going on. You might get a pretty diagram if you're using something like N8N, but I think conceptually it's better just to actually understand these key components. So what we'll be doing here is we'll be creating a user task, we'll fan out, so we'll make 3 different API calls. With that information, we'll combine it at the end, and then we'll pass it to a lead architect. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 API calls effectively. Just to expand on that, how we'll be doing it in the code, we create the 3 agents, we call them asynchronously. So rather than taking 3 lots of 5 minutes, which would be 15 minutes, we do 3 calls, each one at the same time, and then that takes, well, it takes 5 minutes. I'm just using 5 minutes as an example. So without async, that would be 5, 10, 15. But with async, that's 5, 5, 5. But it still takes 5 overall because at that point, 5 minutes has elapsed. This example is going to be based on Rig, which is a very user-friendly ergonomic framework that uses Rust. Now with Rust, there are lots of things to learn with regard to borrowing, the borrow checker, ownership model, and so on. But to be honest, you don't need to fully understand or know all that just to get this working, I would say. So that's your import, and then effectively you're creating 3 agents there. You're creating a researcher, the coder. Sorry, just 2. I'm creating 3. That's their simpler diagram. So what I did really was I took this idea and then I built it out a bit further. So I'll just read this, then we'll look at my kind of architecture for it, and then I'll start the code running because it could well take, I don't know, 20 minutes for all this to run because I haven't got access to paid API at the moment, or rather, I don't want to. So I'm kind of, I don't know. Oh, sorry, I need to get a mic stand. I'm balancing my microphone on the box at the moment. If you like my new sound, it's because I've got a new microphone and I'm still quite excited about it. Right, where was I? Yeah, I'm a reluctant AI large language model user, I would say. Partly because of the expense, partly because of the accuracy or lack of. But I still think it's important to know, to learn, to understand it, and hopefully you agree. I think it's just interesting. It's new, so it's something new is always going to, I don't know, pique your enthusiasm, isn't it? So this is Rig Core Multi-Agent Research Synthesis CodeGen Pipeline. Llama. I'm using a Llama, but you don't have to. You can just helicopter in your own favorite flavor of large language model. So fan out, dispatch parallel research prompts to 3 agents. So that's the fan out part, and then fan in using try join. Try join is the macro provided in Rust, which collects the 3 futures or promises, and then once it's collected them, it kind of unpacks them. Okay, hope you're with me so far. So pretty much what we saw there. I mean, there's going horizontal, so it's fan out, fan in. What I'm doing is fan out, fan in. Then we are passing the design notes to the architect. The architect kind of produces the design, and then that design gets passed to senior Rust engineer. It's all of this is anthropomorphizing. It's trying to make it sound like humans are involved, but it's 5 different agents effectively. So hopefully I've demystified agents if you're still wondering what the hell all this agent nonsense is about. Agent is really a self-contained little worker, shall we say, that performs a task. Not to be confused with Tokyo tasks, if you know about Rust. Right, so the code, all these red dots here. I've tried to collapse the code just to describe it. So we've got the rig imports there, and again, if you were using, rather than Llama, you could use OpenAI. The Rust Analyzer code completion will offer you the different options there. So you've got rig supports all your favorites really. Yeah, it's really well maintained. I'm just using rig because it's very clean and a neat way to demonstrate the concept, because the whole purpose of this video is to demonstrate the fan out, fan in. So you're creating 3 agents. Each agent, you're passing it, you're using the builder pattern with the .agent, the preamble, and then the build. You could call that system prompt. I forget what it's called in LangChain, but agent, specifying the model. The preamble, you're telling it what its skills are or how to operate, and then build is just basically like putting it all together and building it. So once you've got that, you do that for each of the 3. The security researcher, you are a security engineer. The Rust researcher, you are a Rust async expert. So you've got these 3 skills. You go off and research them. You need to use await, otherwise you'll just have a future that never is like lazy. So you have to actually activate it by putting await at the end. So research the safest design. Then the other one is review security considerations. So effectively, where we created the agent, we were doing the system prompt, and then this is the actual user prompt here and here. Okay, so we're doing that for the 3 things, the Rust security and the architecture. Once we've got all that info back, then we say to the architect, combine the research notes into a single implementation plan. So that's there. And then so the architect then produces the design. So architect.prompt, and it produces a whole bunch of text. That is just a string at the moment. You probably would want to tell it to build it as JSON. It's much more structured and deterministic. And then you do the same thing for the client as you did for the architect. So then you just say, your senior Rust engineer, implement the design with the production quality code. So that's the setup. And then when you actually run it, you're saying implement this architecture. And this is a clever bit. So you've created the design based on the info that the architect sort of assimilated or synthesized. So this is like the Ginger syntax. Right, enough talk. Let's try and run it. This could take spot the obvious mistake. Whilst I was chattering away, we've broken the code. So what this is doing is I've compiled this already. So this is, you've got a compiled binary in Rust. That actually took 1 second. The first time you compile Rust, it could take, I don't know, 20, 50 seconds or whatever. It depends on how complex your build is. When you do it again, most of the stuff's there, so it's quite quick, and you can see people criticize the compile time for Rust, but that to compile it was 1 second. So compiling, finished, and then now it's running. It's actually running what it built, which is the agent code. So that will take a minute or 2. So I think what I will do is leave that running. because you don't want to just listen to me talk filling time whilst this happens. So again, this has taken a long time because I'm calling a llama rather than paying for lots of tokens, which I can't really afford. So be back in a second. Okay, so that took so long that my webcam decided to go to sleep. Right, this is the output 17 minutes 30 seconds later. Let's see what it's come up with. So the design, if you remember, the only two things I actually asked it to print was the design and then the code. Based on the provided specifications, I will outline the final implementation plan that combines all the features discussed earlier. Here's an example of how you could implement this plan. So it's built the implementation plan, project structure, database connection, API endpoints, error handling and logging. It's created me, it's selected Axum, which is a framework for building API web servers in Rust. That all looks fairly acceptable. You can tell it's regurgitating stuff that is probably scraped off of Stack Overflow during its training. Okay, so then this implementation combines all the features discussed earlier, including a database, connection pooling, caching, strategy, service layer, API endpoints, metrics, and monitoring. Okay, I'm not going to read all this, don't worry. So the code, I'll create complete production quality implementation of the architecture described with proper error handling login. Okay. Just looking to see if it's importing the error. Or is it create? Yeah, it's creating a separate module to handle the errors. Okay, good. I'm just going to scroll through that down to the bottom now, but you can see what it's generated. And I would say it's fairly credible, but I think we all know in the back of our mind that this is predictive text based upon many years of scraping Stack Overflow. And admittedly, it's probably scraped the documentation for whatever programming language you're using. So, but you see this is an error. It's using Rust 2021. You'd be using 2024 edition now. So that would probably fail on on a compliance test, because if you're using 2021, there'd be lots of vulnerabilities. It's obvious, isn't it? And it'll be using out of date versions. I don't know what Axum's on now, but and I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Docker Compose uses version anymore. I think that's superfluous now. I think you just go straight to services. Again, let me know in the comments if I've said something wrong there, but it's got the general idea. But I think really if you take nothing away from this video, just understand the fan out, fan in, because what you're doing is you're asynchronously calling 3 agents to do your research that you can then pass to your architect and your senior coder, which may or may not be AI. That's up to you. I'm not going to comment. But yeah, just I think it's worth bearing in mind, or having a mental model. I think it's what it's called these days, isn't it? Have a mental model of the fan out, fan in concept, or the fan out, fan in architecture for building with large language models. I hope some of this has been interesting. I don't expect it to be a big hit. I think most of the videos on my channel are successful if I use something with a brand name in, like WordDoc or eBay or Raspberry Pi. So I accept that this won't get many videos. So given that if you find this useful, please give me a thumbs up. Comments are great for feeding the algorithm, and yeah, or share it and subscribe, all the usual. I don't want to bore you, but yeah, thank you for watching, and just remember, fan out, fan in. See you next time.